Welcome to the Princess and the Bee podcast, the place to be to build your empire as queen of your body, business, and life. I'm your host, Kimberly Spencer, founder of crownyourself.com, and I'm an award-winning coach, Amazon best-selling author, and multi-passionate entrepreneur. Each week, I give you the systems, strategies, and success stories to help you master your mindset, communicate with ease, and triple your productivity so you make the income and the impact you deserve. Imagine this podcast as your weekly spark of inspiration as you take it to the next level with all the bees of your life. Body, business, bank account, boys, and babies. Let's make it rain. Good morning, Princess and the Beers. And welcome back. Thank you so much. If this is your first time tuning into this podcast, thank you for tuning in and giving this fancy, weird named podcast a shot. And if you are a regular listener, thank you so much. I so appreciate you tuning in every week for the massive downloads, mindset shifts, strategies, tools, and clarity, confidence breakthroughs that go down inside this podcast. Plus, I get some kick-ass guests, just saying. But I am so grateful that you are here because today we are talking about one of my favorite topics, and it's like literally one of the reasons why many people have worked with me as a coach, and it's because of energy. Energy is everything. It is everything. The energy that you are putting out in your life and in your business is literally propelling you forward or propelling you backward from where you want to be. Energy just happens to be like my specialty as a coach, is of drawing out that vivacious confidence, bold and courageous queen that is inside of you. That is my jam. That is like my favorite thing to do, is to tap in. And it's not like I'm teaching you anything you don't know or anything that you haven't known in the past before you had a lot of societal programming. We all have had this. Societal programming, familial programming, conditioning, false beliefs, self-limiting beliefs that have been projected upon you and that you have plagiarized and accepted as your own, because that's what plagiarism is you take something that's somebody else's and then you accept it as your own. Well, that's what a self-limiting belief is, because all self-limiting beliefs are completely plagiarized. One of the most fantastic experiences was when I was in LA. Tony-Robbins came and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to see this man live on stage. And I was only about 4 months out after giving birth to Declan. But Spike and I, regardless, I was like, okay, I'm going to go do this thing. It was an all-day event. It was amazing. And Tony-Robbins said, he asked a question. He said, has anybody ever had, we had to figure out what our main fear was, what our big driving fear was. And then he went up to one woman and he said, okay, what's your big fear? And she was like almost on the brink of tears. And she said, failing as a parent. And he said, any other parents in the audience? And I was a new parent, and I'd already made some mistakes 4 months in. And I was like, okay, yeah, parent. And he said, any other parents have the greatest fear of failing as a parent? And like every parent's hand in the room stayed up, because those are self-limiting beliefs that are all plagiarized. We've plagiarized them from everybody else. So one of the biggest things is the self-limiting beliefs, the plagiarized conditioning that we've adopted has masked our true energy, the energy of the confident, bold, outspoken queen that we were when we were a kid. Like if you think back to your childhood before about like 5 or 6, like around 5 or 6, like how was your energy then? Were you scared of sharing your voice? Were you scared of showing up fully? Were you scared of being that confident, proud, motivated, bold, audacious kid, or were you just, being you, unapologetic for, twirling around in a princess dress and then, directing all the other neighborhood children in your most recent production of Beauty and the Beast? I don't know. That was my childhood. Just saying. But there is energy. Like, I don't teach my clients anything that they don't already know. Like, their soul remembers that energy. They remember that, and it's starting to come out. Like, people come to me when they have like those little glimpses. It's like those little holes in the box. They've been in a box of darkness, of plagiarized and beliefs and societal conditioning, but they've had these little holes and these sparks and these things, and they see the light and they're like, ooh, that light is radiant. I want more of that light. I want to tap into that. So I just help them tap into what they already know in their soul. The thing is like that shift is what is going to make you powerful in your business and in building your empire. Because that confident, bold, vivacious, resilient child who was just like, oh, you don't want to play with me? Okay, I'll go over here. Oh, okay, you don't want to play with me? I'll find somebody else. Like, that resilience, what happened to it as an adult? Like, but for some reason, as we grow into adulthood, and then as we grow into becoming entrepreneurs and building our businesses and building empires, like, for some reason, that resilience, that boldness, that courage, that lack of care of what people really think, of that, like, lack of fear of judgment, it's not there as much as an adult. Like, we suddenly have all these beliefs and conditioning that have taught us that we have to be this buttoned up person and, like, don't be too much, right? Don't be too much. Don't be too sparkly. Don't be too loud. Don't be too outspoken. Be polite. Be a lady. And while I am all about being a lady, I mean, I haven't opened a door for myself in 7 years thanks to Spikey. Like, that man, and then it's not that I can't open the door, it's just I allow him to respect me and open my doors for me. That's a queen, baby. That is the shift that it takes of tapping in to that emotional resilience and confidence, that playful confidence that you had as a child. That's the energy that's going to make you successful. That's the energy that's going to pull you out of your own funks and your own getting stuck in your self-limiting beliefs and your own crappy habits, and it's going to pull you out and pull you forward so that you shift faster, so that you get your butt back down and you figure out your next move, so that you have that resilience to send that one more email, that one more thing, and reach out to that one more convention, reach out to that one more podcast for that interview, do that one more thing. The thing is like, a lot of people believe that business is a marathon. And that's honestly why a lot of businesses fail in the first 5 years. Because that playful, curious, resilient, bold, borderline audacious energy does not permeate. And so we let the failures, quote unquote, we let those messes, we let those rejections hold us back from starting up faster. Rather than being like that playful kid that we were when we were 5 years old, where it was like, oh, you don't want to play with me? Okay, I'm going to go over to this people and see if they want to play with me. Like, I was literally in the park. I think this is one of the best things about having children, is I was in the park, and Declan is almost 2, but there was this little 4 or 5 year old girl. She's so cute. And she was like, oh, what are you playing? And I was like, well, we're playing pirates, because Declan likes to spin the pirate wheel. And she's like, okay, cool. I want to play too. I was like, okay, cool. And so it brought out, having a child brings out this greater sense of play and imagination. And it was funny because her mother was sitting on the sideline, and she's like, I'm sorry. I was like trying to encourage her to play with, kids her own age, but there were no kids her own age on the playground. It was just Declan, who is 2. And I was like, well, I'm a big kid. Let's tap into that playful big kid side. And so I just was watching this little girl, 4 or 5 years old, and Declan is doing his thing, and she's shouting out commands like, "Oh my goodness, watch out, the floor is lava." And she was just so playful. And then after a while, I was like, okay, I think she got bored with playing with a 2-year-old who wasn't responding to the fact that the floor was lava. And I obviously was a bit more focused on Declan, making sure that he was getting up and around the playground equipment. And I was like, oh no, the floor is lava. Like, I would play with her a little bit, but I have to be more focused on my son. But I was listening to her as she kind of went along, and some other kids came to the park and that were around her age, and she came up to me and Spike and was like, "Hey, these kids are new to the park. I really would love to play with them, but I'll come back and play with you later. Okay, cool. Bye. Is that okay? Thanks." And like, it wasn't even, "Is that okay?" as like a question. It was like, "That's okay. Cool. I'm going to play with you again." It was never a question of like an either or thing. It was never a question of like, "Oh, now I feel rejected because this parent is not really paying as much attention to me because she has to pay attention to her kid," or like there wasn't all this thought process of drama and blah 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 going on in her head like we have as adults. It was just, okay, cool, I'm gonna go shift and go play with these people, and that's fine. But yet so often in our business we get so stuck in this energy of like, this is how it has to be. This is how it should be. This is how it is supposed to be. And it's that shouldness and that energy and that belief that things should be different than they are that is pulling you out of your confidence of it, that you can get in the now. Confidence, vivaciousness, boldness, courage, all of these powerful attributes, motivation, they all happen in the present moment. Whenever you're focused on what should be or what was supposed to be, or just like, oh my gosh, another rejection. When you're thinking of another rejection, that means that rejection happened in the past, and yet you're still dwelling on it in the present. Instead, there was one, I forget who it was. I was listening to an amazing podcast where this, it was either a podcast or Spike told me about it. It was one of the two. But it was about a businessman who was being asked about like this massive business, $billion business acquisition that he lost. And the news reporters were like, "Oh my goodness, now what are you going to do?" And like they were trying to stir up all this like fear and like, oh, do you blame yourself or guilt and blah, 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 and all the chaos that the news likes to stir up. And the businessman was like, "Well, that happened. Next." Like, that was the most powerful energy shift ever. Okay, that happened. Next. Literally, within seconds of losing $1 billion deal. Okay, next. Like, look at that energy to be able to pivot. That is the childlike energy of play, of saying, "Oh, okay, cool. You don't want to play with me? All right, I'll go over here." Easy. Again, I don't coach people to find out something new. Your soul, your child, your inner child, your childlike spirit is still within you. It is begging for you to get out. And that's why I named my business membership the Princess Process, because A, my business is called Crown Yourself, so everything has to be princess and queen themed, just because it's my business. And B, because I want to give my members a sense of play, of fun, of having that childlike resilience to be able to just say, "Okay, cool, next. Let me just bounce back with the same level of confidence that you go into playing with a different group as you went into playing with the first one. And the first one may not want to play with you, and you may not like, and look at it in the perspective of in business. Like, you might be marketing to a specific target group and you're not getting any traction there. They're not hearing your message. Well, what do? Do you change your business to try to fit in with this group? Do you change yourself to try to fit in with this group? Or do you say, "Oh, okay, wrong market. Next. Pivot. Play." And that's why I'm super excited to announce that the Princess Process is now open for membership. So this is a program that I created for the women who have not yet made $35,000 in their business, or who are making $35,000 or less per year in their business. And they want to start hitting their 10K month goals. They want to start having their business, their side hustle, their passion project replace the income of their current day job, of their current thing. And they want to stop living off of savings and have their business be profitable. So inside the Princess Process, we go over the 6 pillars. And because it's called the Princess Process, I make it freaking fun, because I want you to tap into that childhood play of curiosity and openness and wonder and joy and confidence that you had, that I know you had when you were a kid. When you didn't have all the societal programming and plagiarized limiting beliefs that business should be hard, or business should be whatever it should be. Whatever it should be is not what it is. Remember, shoulds always pull you out of the present moment. What it is now is what you can make of it now, and change only happens in the now. And that's why I invite you now to join the Princess Process. It is open for enrollment right now. So click the link in the description. If it resonates with you, jump on in. It's the easiest way to work with me as your coach, with no hassle, no commitment, and for a very low monthly fee. My private clients pay me thousands of dollars to work with me per month, and this is the easiest way to work with me as your coach, get these specific, clear-cut mindset tools and business building strategies to help you build your queen team, to give you the marketing and the branding and the sales strategies and the systems that you need in order to set you up for awesome success and for you to skyrocket your growth. We go over the tools that I used last year in my business to grow Crown Yourself to 389%, so that I was able to close my Pilates studio and take Crown Yourself full time. And that is what I want you to be able to have the joy in creating a business that just fuels you, that you feel so purposeful and so passionate about, and that you wake up like me on Mondays, like the crazy person on Mondays. I literally am so eager and excited for Mondays, so that there's no more TGI Fridays of like waiting for the weekend and oh, thank God for the weekend. I get so excited for Mondays. I mean, as much as I do love my weekends with my family, like Mondays, I'm like, oh yes, I get to serve, I get to help, I get to provide, I get to do meaningful work that really enhances people and changes people's lives and changes the energy of how we approach our businesses and how we approach what we do. And that is what the Princess Process is there for. So if that feels like something you really want to jump in on, and if that looks really amazing for you, click the link below in the description. You can register and join now. The cart will be closing on July 12th. So I do want to let you know that will be closed and it won't be available for some time. So if you want to join now, the time is now. Remember, change happens in the now. So I thank you so much for listening, and I am so excited to catch you next time on The Princess and the Bee. Remember, your reign is now. Own your throne, mind your business, and let's make it rain, queens! Thank you so much for tuning in today. If what you heard resonated with you, be sure to subscribe and share your breakthroughs and ahas with me by leaving a review on iTunes so I can keep the magic flowing your way. And if you aren't already following us on social media, come experience the extra inspiration and queenly convos on Instagram at Crown Yourself Now, or visit our website at crownyourself.com. I am so excited to connect with you in the next episode. And in the meantime, go out there and create a body, business, and life that rules.